Hey everybody. So Raph and I just got back from a family walk this time, and I was about to post the video, and I realized that I was really rambling earlier. I know, surprising, right? And I kind of left out a couple key things that I really did want to focus, not focus, but touch on before I moved on to my college years. So I just kind of wanted to briefly go through those. First of all, I had mentioned that I did 3 sports for freshman and sophomore year. And those were swimming, gymnastics, and track. And then I did cross country gymnastics and track. After my sophomore year, a lot of factors went into it. Some of them that I will touch on in just a minute here. But one of the main reasons I actually dropped gymnastics after my sophomore year was because it wasn't because I didn't enjoy it, but it was because one injury. I kept getting injured. I kept getting injured on the beam, and I would come into the track season kind of rehabbing, and track was really my main sport. And for me, coming into the season injured from a sport that was not my main sport didn't make a lot of sense to me. And as I was getting older, I knew I was not going to be putting gymnastics for me. I was not going to do club. I was not going to really be training in the off season, and for me, that wasn't fair to the team. And it also wasn't fair to my track team that I was coming in from a sport that had a high risk of injury at, that I would then be coming in and not be able to compete for my track team. And so a couple other factors went into that as well because of some, I just needed to make some better choices. And I had a couple of friends that were not helping that were for me on the gymnastics team. And so I made a tough choice and talked to my coaches, my parents, my therapist, and I decided that I was going to step away from gymnastics and just train for track over the winter break. And so that's kind of the reason I stepped away from gymnastics. Which is really why I'm also super excited to coach it at my school now, because for me, it's kind of coming back to where I left off and being able to be a part of an experience that I gave up, and for some personal reasons and other things, and just being able to come back to that now is really special to me, and it's really exciting to me as well. So that was the first thing I wanted to touch on. The second thing I wanted to touch on was that I kind of focused a lot of my freshman and sophomore year and not so much of my junior, senior year, and that's because I had a big change from sophomore to junior year. I mentioned before that I had a lot of mental health issues and that I really struggled with that aspect of my life. In the summer of my sophomore to junior year, I was actually hospitalized for depression and anxiety, and that kind of affected my training, affected my life, affected a lot of things. And so I kind of wanted to touch on that because that kind of did change as well a lot of the trajectory of the next couple of years. And after that hospitalization, I realized how much I needed help, I guess, but I was also resisting a lot of that help. And a lot of the help that I used was actually kind of running through therapy through running and therapy through sports. And that the team aspect really helped me there, helped me to calm myself, to center myself, and to really become back to the person I wanted to be after that hospitalization, and learning how to really cope with depression and anxiety within my schoolwork, within my relationships, my family, and everything like that. So one of those things that really helped me through was actually a quote from my sophomore year that Nicole Farr gave me, and she kept telling me, she's like, well, in a race, how do I get through a race mentally? Well, I don't know. It hurts, but it's worth it. And anybody who's ever run a 3-mile race knows how much it hurts. You know that gut feeling that you get from that 3rd mile. It just hurts. It's abdominal pain because you're pushing yourself really, really hard. And it was like, how do you get through that? Well, it hurts, but in the end, it is worth it. I have that on every single page of my assignment notebook from high school. I have that on every single cross-country season, track season, any season that I've been through. I write that in my notebook. I write that for my athletes. It hurts, but it's worth it. Getting through a race, yeah. Getting through life, it's going to hurt. There are going to be times when you're going to be hurting, and in the end, it's going to be worth it. And to me, that was something really big that helped me get through high school and helped me get through a lot of the tough times that I went through, especially with depression and anxiety. And so there was one workout that I wanted to touch on. If anybody's ever run Blackwell Hill, and a lot of the North Central alums and anybody else, any high schooler who's ever run Blackwell knows how hard that workout is. At the end of the summer, when I was going to my outpatient program after I got released from inpatient, there was a workout my mom took me, and I had to do a lot of the workouts by myself at the end of the summer there and at the start of like the season. And she took me to Blackwell because I was going to be doing Blackwell. My team was doing Blackwell that day, and I wanted to do Blackwell workout. So I went there by myself in the morning before outpatient, and I was doing the hills all by myself. I was doing 6 hills and powering up them and just using all of my pent up energy, pent up anxiety, and was getting up the hill. And I was standing at the top of the hill after the workout and just kind of walking around there. And at the top of the hill, Harvey would always talk to us. He'd always get everyone together as a team, and we'd all get together in a circle, and we just finished like the toughest workout of our lives. And every Wednesday was the toughest workout of our lives. And we'd get through the workout, and then he'd talk to us at the end. Talk to us about team, talk to us about getting through the workout, talk to us about the upcoming days and races and what it meant to be a team. And from the top of Blackwell, you can see the Sears Tower. You can see everywhere around you. You can see all the towns around you. You can see all the trees around you. And doing that by myself and standing there at the top of the hill, I just decided, I remember this specifically, I was like, well, I couldn't really control my circumstances at that point, but the one thing I could control was my attitude towards the circumstances and my attitude going forward. I could either completely give up and change my life and not move forward, or I could take what I'd been given and work through my problems and work through everything and get back to a place where I wanted to be. And that's kind of what I chose. And so I came back junior year and decided to really put my heart into racing cross country with a new team. All the seniors I had really gotten to know had graduated. And that was really tough for me to be kind of, that all my friends had really graduated. The reason I fell in love with cross country had graduated kind of. And so learning how to adapt to a new team and adapt to a new diagnosis and everything like that. But again, that running really helped me, and the coaching, the relationship with my coaches really helped me, which that kind of cemented my wish to be a coach later in life. So just briefly with what I did for senior year. Junior year, I placed 45th in the state, I think, as a junior. I ran 17:55. I had run 17:50 my sophomore year when I was 28th. And then senior year, I actually did not qualify for state in cross country. It was a really rough season. It was a good season. I actually ran 17:46 overall time-wise, but just the end of the season was really rough. And so I did not qualify for state, and neither did my team that year. And then in track, though, I qualified my junior year in pole vault, and the 4x2, I think, qualified that year. I can't really remember. I might have qualified in the 4x4 or something like that. But I know I qualified in pole vault. And then my senior year, I qualified in the 4x2 and in pole vault for track. And that was really special as well. I actually qualified for finals in pole vault. And that was also with my coach, my favorite pole vault coach in the world, which I'll talk a lot about philosophy-wise with him and how I coach from him in a little bit later part of the series. But he actually, his wife at that time had a baby that day. So I actually had to be coached by someone different at the state meet, which I always joke with him to this day. I'm like, well, that's, I really needed you there, and you weren't there. So, that's why I wasn't all-state. But I actually had a great meet that day. And I ended up in finals, and it was just a really special time and special opportunity. And I think that was the last thing I wanted to talk about, was that I was all-state my freshman year, and I had really, really good seasons the rest of my high school career. But I was never all-state again. And at the time I was all-state, I did not realize how special that was to actually wear that medal and to be part of that team that team at that point had worked for 4 years to even get to the state meet and to be that way. And I didn't realize how special that was to be a part of that team. As a freshman, I was like, oh, this is great. This is how it always is. You go to state, you compete on the second day, and I didn't realize how special that was. And so to end my senior year, competing on the second day for pole vault was really special to me. And that was just something that, especially right now, that I appreciate all the times we had and appreciate every moment of the times we do have. And I don't know what we're going to be getting this season. I have no idea what the season's going to look like at this time. And so every moment you get to train, every moment you get to train by yourself, every moment you get to train with one or two other people right now, and every moment and every day that you get to do a workout, that you get to do a recovery day, that you get to vault, that you get to jump, that you get to be with your team. I think that you need to appreciate every moment, because every year, every opportunity is special, it's different, and it means a lot, because in the end, all you're really going to remember is how the experiences that you have in high school shaped you, and you're not going to remember the times in the workout. That Blackwell workout I was talking about, I don't remember the times I ran. I know I ran 6 hills, because we always ran 6 hills, but I don't remember the times I ran or the tempo I ran beforehand. I don't remember the time of that. I remember the feeling on the top of that hill. I remember the feeling that I felt after every Blackwell workout. I remember the feelings that I felt after every tempo, and just the overall seasons, how they all meshed together. And that was what was special to me, and what I hope is special to all my athletes. And that's what I hope to try to make. I try to recreate those experiences that I had in high school, that my coaches provided for me, and that my teammates provided for me. And I try to provide that for my athletes. I hope that my athletes also realize how special it is to be part of the team, and to do as much as you can for your team. Whatever your team asks of you and that you can do, you should be doing. And really, right now, I guess that's what we're asking of athletes, is to keep the faith and keep working out, keep positive, keep in touch, and don't lose faith, don't lose heart. Faith, focus, finish, and we can get through this together, guys. I really miss everybody right now, and that's kind of why I'm doing these series, because if I can help one person through a really tough time, then everything I do is worth it. And that's always my coaching philosophy. If I can help one person every year, every season, at least, and I hope I touch more than one person, but if I can help at least one, that makes a lot of a difference to me as a coach. So, all right. Tomorrow, I will definitely get into my college experience and how that kind of shaped me, and then actually brought me to coaching and teaching as well. So, have a great night, guys.